Alright, this is Geometry Section 11.3 Part 2, where we're going to talk about cones and the lateral and area and surface area of them. So first, a few definitions. A cone is a figure whose base is a circle. A right cone has an altitude that's a perpendicular segment from the vertex to the center of the base, which is called the height, h. And then the slant height is the distance from the vertex to a point on the edge of the base. And I've got all of these labeled in my cone to the right. Unless the book states otherwise, we'll assume that it's a right cone. Okay, so Theorem 11.4 gives us the formulas for lateral and surface area of the cone. They're always a little simpler when the figure deals with having a base of a circle, like the cylinder was a little simpler than the prism. So we always know the base on a cone is a circle. The lateral area will be the area around the cone, not the base, but the other part. So it's going to be 1/2 times the circumference, 2 pi r, times L. So instead of having perimeter, we're just thinking circumference. In the one before, when we did the pyramid, we had 1/2 times the perimeter times the slant height. But this time it's circumference since it's a circle that it's wrapped around. So once I've simplified that, I would get the 1/2 and the 2 would cancel each other out, and I would have pi times the radius times the slant height. So the radius is drawn in here. It's the radius of the base. Now the surface area will be the lateral area plus the area of the base, so the pi RL that we just talked about, plus the area of the base is always pi r squared because it's always a circle. Okay, so example 3 asks us to find the surface area of the cone in terms of pi. And the cone is given. It has a slant height of 25 centimeters, and it has a radius of 15 centimeters. Now look at that and tell me what is not given. So we have everything in here except the height, which we need to know. Well, do we need to know that? Maybe not. So I'm going to do the lateral area first. I'm going to change pen colors. All right, so the lateral area is just pi times the radius times the slant height, which is going to be pi times 15 times 25. They asked me to leave it in terms of pi, so I can multiply the 15 times 25, but I'm going to leave the pi there. That's going to end up giving me 375 pi. Oops, I forgot the 5. And that's going to be in centimeters squared. The surface area then will be that plus the area of the base. So it'll be pi times the radius squared. So the pi RL we already worked out is 375 pi. The pi r squared will be pi times 15 squared. So I'm going to have 375 pi plus 225 pi. And that's going to give me 600 pi. Now I could always put this in the calculator if I needed to round it, but they asked me to leave it in terms of pi, so I need to make sure I don't do that in this case. And the units would be in centimeters squared. Okay, pause and try quick check 3, where we'll find the surface area of a cone with radius 16 and slant height 28. Alright, hopefully you paused and worked that out. I'm just writing down the formula again. We're going to plug things in. So I have pi times the radius, which this time is 16, times the slant height, which is 28, That's the lateral area. And then plus the area of the base would be pi times the radius 16 squared. Alright, that's going to give me 448 pi plus 256 pi. So altogether, that will be 704 pi. And our units are meters, so that will be a meter squared. Finally, try quick check 4 where we just find the lateral area of the cone that has a radius 15 and a height 20 inches. So this time it's lateral area, not surface area. Okay, hopefully you work this out. The lateral area is just the part that was pi r L, or pi times the radius times the slant height. So it'll be pi times 15 times 20. That will end up being 375 pi. Wait. I'm sorry, we don't know the L yet. I knew there was one of these where we had to find it. I was thinking it was the other one. Okay, so I'm given the lateral, I'm given a cone. They told me the radius is 15, and they told me the height is 20. Not the slant height this time. So that is my H. I need to find the slant height. So what I'm going to think about is that the height of the cone with the radius and the slant height all make a right triangle. So if I need to know the slant height, well, it's just the hypotenuse of the right triangle, and I can use the Pythagorean theorem. So I can say 15 squared plus 20 squared has to equal L squared. That will be 225 plus 400 equals L squared. Alright, so I'm going to have L squared equals 625. And when I take the square root of that, I get that L is equal to 25. Okay, and that's what I want to plug in here. Okay, so that's going to be, when I multiply that out, 375 pi. Which when I put that in the calculator and round it, I get about 1,178 inches squared. So this one was one where you had to think through what the shape was making and make sure you use the correct height, not the regular height, but the slant height. Okay, good luck on your homework. See you in class.